It tastes like hoisin sauce. That's all it is.
Yeah.
So not surprised.
It's not a like, well, like it's not a like, oh my god, it's this amazing thing. It's Szechuan sauce. Are we live? Have we started? Yes, we are. Okay.
So let's stop giving a certain major fucking corporation all the recognition for their shitty sauce.
Da 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 da.
I'm hating it.
Thank you, Damon.
That's what you call a clapback.
No. Anyway, I will own when when it first came out, I did really like it. I have not had it since, and the main reason I haven't had it is one, I don't really want to ruin that quote unquote memory, and two, I have heard nothing but it's not that good. It's not that good. I'm like, okay, well then maybe as a like young adult, middle school or high school, I think high school, whatever kid, it was like the shit because it was, whatever. And now
you didn't know no better.
Exactly.
And your tastes have evolved.
Didn't know no better.
It's a double.
Didn't know no better. Okay, that's just gonna make my brain hurt. I'm gonna grab a drink and then I'm ready.
Okay.
Well, I'm gonna close that thing and.
Are you watching the Canadian Maple video again?
Mute when he would do that. What?
Are you watching the Canadian Maple video again?
No, why?
Just
because you said you were going to shut something, so I assumed that's what it was.
No, I was closing the script.
Oh, okay.
Oh. Good gravy. And that I was going to start filing a complaint because I love Chester, but when he steps away, he doesn't mute his line. Or he does, but he does it too late. So I can hear his microphone and making all sorts of noise and stuff. And it makes my OCD twitch.
Sure, no.
Okay, so now we're going to go over here. I'm going to see if this damn stuff works because it's pissing me off.
Hey, the preview image in the Telegram actually loaded properly. It's like the right image.
I think it's a timing mechanism thing. I think if you wait a minute or two, it'll catch all the new data.
Otherwise, I'll just use cached.
Right.
Does that make sense?
Hi,
AJ. Hi, Chuck.
At desktop.
I don't know where I picked this up at. I think it might have been that time we were in Cincinnati and went to Uncle Bob's or whatever the name of that place is called.
Jungle Gyms.
Jungle Gyms.
Okay.
It is almond cream soda, and it is fantastic.
Ugh. I can't. No. That's a no.
So I like...
oh, my motherfucking God. I don't understand this.
I just generally like soda in glass bottles and flavored sodas like this, so it's fun.
This makes absolutely zero sense. How can one piece of software that's on two different operating systems yet use the same conventional naming system not be viewable on the other one? What the fuck is that shit?
What sort of fuckery is this?
Shouldn't matter. Should not matter. I don't.
I mean, AJ, I can help you with that if you want.
What is he saying now? What's going on? What are we doing?
Lord.
What are we talking about?
He's already talking about flagging yellow.
Well, isn't that nice? Be my friend.
Not surprised.
Oh my God!
Hi, Jim. I want pizza.
What is going on?
It's my husband my partner is home. And
Ooh, listen to that.
Wait a minute. Is that a preview of things to come or something?
I don't know.
Stay tuned
Anyway.
and find out. This week on COL. Oh shit! We need a church bell sound effect.
It is. Right now.
No, you don't.
No, I don't.
Because if you did, you would have left years ago.
Yeah. Anywho,
All right, minimize that. Go there, do this. What's this other thing? There. Go there. Hey, for those of you that ever like get training about how you shouldn't verbalize your actions, that's exactly what Gary's doing right now. Isn't it annoying? Don't do it to your customers when you're on the phone with them.
oh, yeah. Yeah, friend.
Because that shit gets old real fast. Desktop.
Well, that's shitty. Okay.
What are you doing, Jeffro?
Oh.
Desktop.
Somehow. Oh, okay. There he goes. Hi, everybody. I'm Jeff. Stop! Stop! I didn't want to do that now. Fuck.
I really, really, really right now want to say I want to turn this podcast around and go back, but I can't.
I'm trying to set something up.
Then
Okay.
you're shit.
And it was doing something and I panicked. I'm sorry.
I don't think he can without muting the whole call, like the whole broadcast. I don't know. Granted, I don't really know what's going on. I'm just gonna start watching my video.
Oh, I like it when some random guy just unlocks their private media on Growler. And they happen to be really fucking hot.
Oh, for a second I thought you were delivering some sarcasm. Never mind.
Yeah. Well, most of the time I don't really care for it. But this guy's not very far away, and he's really hot.
So tonight's COL will be short.
Like, I mean, he's handsome.
Yeah.
Look at that guy.
What are you talking about?
Ooh, he is handsome.
And then that.
That what?
That
Do you
penis.
not see my screen?
No, Jeff's locked on my screen for some reason.
Oh, well, I'm sorry you missed beautiful penis.
That's rude. That's really rude. Now that I've got Skype back up and I can see both you bitches and not Jeff because he's not on camera, put the penis back up, please.
There you go. There.
Damn!
Oh, wait till you see. Look at the guy attached to it.
Do you see this? Do you see this? Do you see this?
Yeah.
If I had calipers, that's what I want to know, because that sumbitch got some girth on him. And go back to the picture. Is his underside pierced?
No.
Oh, it looks like a really strange piercing was in that picture. I was
Oh,
very
it was probably like reflecting off my camera or something.
something.
Ooh.
Hello.
Wait, stop doing that. I'm trying to look at other things. God damn you.
Stop distracting him.
I'm trying to like do shit over here in a different system, and you're like fucking up my shit.
I can't help it that I am ready to go and waiting on you guys.
I'm trying to fix
I'm
crap
ready.
that isn't working between two different systems. Oh, and of course now I have to go find the fucking font that we use and download it. Welcome to having a brand new computer, Gary. What the hell did you think you were going to have? You have to reinstall every motherfucking thing you ever had.
She ain't having that shit.
Move Damon. Click download. That's that. I got that.
We apologize to our people who are waiting for us to go live.
We're having technical difficulties.
No, we can't. I think they're more concerned that they didn't get to see the pictures. But
well, of course they're not going to see the pictures.
Oh, that's right. Let me describe it for you.
Or don't, and just leave it be.
Imagine.
It's all. Picture it. St. Olaf, Sicily, 1933.
Thank you, Sophia.
You have got to be kidding me. So in the Windows OS, there is 1, 2, 3, 4. There is over 24 motherfucking ways to save this image. In Mac, 6. That's a bunch of bullshit. Super bullshit.
Tell me something. Do you really need all those ways?
I don't know. I'm not the one who. Anyways.
Well,
lose my motherfucking mind.
Well, Gary, we could just do a show because I don't think there's anything else we need right now.
Just start the show.
Oof. Okay.
It's not going to close the damn software. Yes.
Focus. Just be nice.
Relaunch the damn software.
Here we go.
Nice, Chester.
Hit this to the taskbar. Try this again.
Okay, we're gonna start the show. Okay, in 3, 2, 1. It's March 4th, 2018. I'm Jeff.
Who's your bear? That's right. I am your bear.
I'm Damon.
I am Chester.
This room is a pigsty, and you're a dirty pig boy.
And that makes me Gary.
Don't hurt nobody with your bad self.
And welcome to Cubs Out Loud, the Bear Podcast of Internal Length, episode number 456. And boy, is it hot in here.
Okay.
There it is. There it is.
Hashtag random.
Pardon me while I have a sip of my sangria. In my COL mug.
Seriously.
Wow.
10 years of fucking podcasting and you still don't understand about slurping and chewing and...
Moving right along.
Anyways,
how are you?
For me, it's 77 degrees out. Actually, what is it right now? Hey Siri, what temperature is it right now? Hey Siri, what temperature is it right now?
It's 71 degrees right now.
It's 71, so it dropped a few degrees.
Wow.
Damon, how about you? That's pretty much it for me.
Wow. So last evening, my leather group here in Cincinnati hosted our Claw Nation party. It was called the Wizard of Claw. That was sort of the theme. It was very fun. Don't give us that look, Gary. Anyway, it was a really great evening. It was packed, and I got to see a lot of people like Chester. Chester came down from Chester and Dane and Joe, and several people from Columbus that I know came down, and it was a lot of fun, and it was a very, I think, successful evening. We raised over $500, which is cool considering all of it goes to charity and fundraising. So I had a lot of fun. I would have enjoyed interacting more with the audience, but we were pretty busy. That was the good and bad thing. We kind of got everything going, and we already had a plan, and it all kind of worked out. But it meant like being like everywhere, doing something pretty much from start to finish. But it was a good time. Like I said, it was a good time. So yeah, woo-hoo. It was good to see people. So even if it meant literally just seeing them, like not actually saying hello or talking.
Yeah, I didn't even get to come up to you and like actually say hello.
Yeah.
For like a good half hour into it because
Yeah.
you were running around doing all your other stuff.
Yeah, selling Jello shots. We sold out of 100 and something Jello shots.
Yeah, I will make sure to give your gratitude to my friend Eric, who bought like $40 worth of Jello shots.
Yeah, that always helps. So thanks. It also meant that Jim and I didn't have to take any home, which yay.
When Chester posted that picture of you with all the shots in the Ventura chat, I swear to God, it said Damon shot the slinger.
But I did.
And I'm like, what does that mean?
I did notice something about that photo, but I decided I wasn't going to put it in Telegram. It'd be shady, but I'll say it now. So apparently, all the grape flavors sold out.
Oh, honey. We did not have a grape flavor. We had every color. We could not because, wait a minute. Let me tell you why we didn't do a grape flavor. It was because in a bar, the grape flavor looks black. Now, when you shine a light on it, this is what we were going with. It just the way we were thinking. And plus, it just was a lot. It would have been yet another set of Jello shots. Huh?
I think he was trying to.
Because Jim said he's the daddy and he says so. So there's that. So there you go. Yeah. So
just keep in mind, significant others are very welcome to chime into anything in the podcast. You don't have to mute your mic unless it's important.
I didn't hear him, and I didn't want to go, huh? What did you say? On the but yeah, that's what I mean. Okay. So yeah, so that's what was going on with me. It was, like I said, it was a good time.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I had shown up there last night. I ended up leaving work early. I kind of ditched work actually. I asked Evan if he wanted to go with. He said yeah. So we hopped in a car with Dana and Joe. Went down there. It was a fun time on the car ride down there, catching up with them because I haven't seen them in a while. It's the first time I'd ever been in that bar.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember when we walked in there, I was like, Jesus Christ, it's like half the place puppies. Which is funny because I knew some of the people that were going to be there, and I'm looking around and I'm like, there's probably a dozen puppies standing around, and I can only pick out one of them that I know because my camera is gone?
Yes. There it is. You're back, but you still get audio weirdness.
I could only pick out one person I knew because they all look the same. So we had a discussion about how puppy masks all kind of look the same, and people should probably start wearing them.
Yeah.
Your headset's really garbly, by the way, Chester.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on. I'm gonna have to restart in a few moments.
Okay.
I had an interview with the clerk of court, which went really well. So I'm glad for that. And let's see. I've been going to the gym quite a bit at the bathhouse, and I've noticed some, I guess, oddities, or I don't even know what to call it.
Okay.
Oh, I don't know. Like, I thought Damon was gonna say something, but he's not. He's paying attention. Jim. Anyway, there seems to be two types of clientele to go there. One type is guys that are like above 60, and then there are younger guys in like their younger 20s. And I noticed that these guys that are in their younger 20s, all of them seem really fucking young. Like they're just going around and their dicks flopping every which way.
Nice. Nice. Huh.
There's other things I noticed about going there, but I will talk about it at another time.
Cool.
Gary?
Yeah, so let's talk about the wacky weather that my region had. So on Tuesday last week, it was almost 60 degrees, and I was running around in t-shirt and shorts.
Mm-hmm.
And then on Thursday, I had to take my dad to an appointment, and we were out, we did some shopping, and we came home. We saw all sorts of people in the public. Nobody said a peep about the weather and how it was going to change. So I'm at home minding my own business, and then Facebook happens to have a random local news thread piece that says that there's a snowstorm coming. And I'm like, what? Hold on. And sure as motherfucking shit, we were getting a snowstorm that evening. We were on winter storm watch for 14 hours, potentially up to 1.5 feet of snow.
Wow.
Jeez.
Well, I guess winter hasn't ended for you guys.
Oh, hell no. No. So, yeah, officially it was like 7.2 inches fell over the course of the night. And I got up in the morning, helped my neighbor shovel. It was that really unpleasant, heavy, wet snow that we had to deal with. And so, yeah, it was interesting to say the least. So I was none too pleased about that. And we are still the Snow Globe season winner. For those of you that aren't aware, there is a contest unofficially that cities with a population of 100,000 or more are rated for their annual snowfall. And in another 3 inches of snow, we will be double our normal snow total for the season.
Wow.
That's how much snow we've had.
Congratulations.
So, No. Bitch, we do not want this award. We are not trying to win this award.
Well,
So you don't want 3 more inches?
No. It's official. You can mark it on your calendar. I don't. It's that simple.
Let me make a note of that.
So, yeah. I'm kind of done with the wacky weather. Mother Nature, get back on your cycle, girl. Take your bed. Whatever it is you got to do.
Yeah.
That's all I got to say.
So now it is time to talk about a thing.
Sure.
So normally here I play a little commercial, but I'm not really going to play a commercial, but I am going to play a commercial all at the same time.
Okay.
So I'm going to switch my camera to this. It's the Cubs Out Loud Patreon. Woo! That's right, folks. We are now on Patreon at patreon.com/CubsOutLoud. We made a little intro video right here, which can't really see it that well, but you're going to hear it. Hi, everybody. I'm Jeff.
I'm Damon.
I'm Chester.
And that makes me Gary.
And we're the hosts of Cubs Out Loud, the Bear podcast of indeterminate length.
just started COL back in 2008. It was just three bears talking about the topics that interest them.
Originally, it was focused mostly on the bear community. Since then, we have blossomed to include many different aspects of the LGBTQA community at large.
And now, our shows include discussions about articles that affect our health and daily lives, as well as ongoing topics from our Let's Talk About Sex and Let's Talk About Kink series.
As we've grown today, we include both audio and video versions of the show. We also create an online store selling original COL merchandise.
And because of that growth, we are reaching out to you, our audience, for support. By becoming a patron, you will help us continue to grow.
Patreon lets you donate a small monthly amount that will help us purchase better equipment. And better equipment means a better show. Plus, we have short and long-term goals to improve Cubs Out Loud.
By joining Patreon, you will help out the podcast, and you'll get in on the action as well. In return for your donations, you'll have access to original and unpublished COL creations.
The more you donate, the more you'll receive. From access to special content to guest hosting on an episode, we have a lot to offer you, our COL entourage.
We have fun creating a podcast, and using Patreon will grant us more funding in doing it.
Your support allows our small-scale podcast to produce content for the LGBTQA community and spreading the love of all things bear.
With Patreon, you will directly help us evolve into something great for the future.
So we hope you will take some time, hopefully not indeterminate, and consider giving to us, Cubs Out Loud. Ta-da!
Yay!
So we're on Patreon now. And of course, we have our regular Zazzle store, which we have stuff. And guess what? We're all wearing something in celebration of the Patreon release. I've got the V1 t-shirt. Damon's got the V2. Chester's got the yellow flagged long sleeve Cubs Out Loud shirt, which you can get in short sleeve. And Gary has the big old bear version 3 logo on his shirt.
Big old bear.
Mm-hmm.
And the hat.
Mm-hmm.
So we're all decked out, so hopefully you will deck out with us. So
check out Patreon and
apparently I screwed up the link and it's Cub Out Loud, not Cubs Out Loud. Maybe I can get that fixed. We'll figure that out later.
All right.
Anyways, where were we?
Okay.
And with that, going on over here. Apparently not much going on over in Facebook land. But Damon, what's been going on over in the YouTubes?
So over on YouTube, we got a new subscriber, and that was Nick and Greg. I don't know if that's Nick and Greg or Nick and Greg one. Oh, whatever. Anyway, welcome.
Yay!
I guess that goes to me.
Yep.
So on Twitter, we have Tunky85.
Tunky.
Tunky of the Tunky we talked about just a few weeks ago.
Yay.
Bronx Bear 23, and then over on Tumblr we have a few new followers: MZT Chub, Infamous Mets, I'm the Huggernaut, Rob Dogs 6891, Ben from Buffalo. I don't know how to pronounce this. Doulafiz 11. And I don't know. Bear Harry 66.
Hi, Infamous Mets.
That is our Tumblr feedback.
Uh-huh.
By the way, the Patreon page is now at patreon.com/cubsoutloud. I fixed it.
Yay!
Right URL.
Yay!
Yeah, and with that, time to go right into our main topic. What are we talking about today, Gary?
Well, we do have a little thing to play.
Oh,
right?
That's right. Totally forgot. Sorry about that.
Do you have a flag?
I think we need to visualize this a little bit. Because we're talking about hanky codes. Hanky code.
Hanky code.
Yes. So, for those of you that might recognize the audio clip, that is the infamous, world-renowned Eddie Izzard, who is an amazing comedian, and it has nothing to do with today's episode, other than it's a funny, punny way to talk about the topic. All right. So, going into this week's episode, we didn't necessarily have something pre-planned ahead of time. Shocking. And there was a discussion going on over in our COL Entourage grouping on Telegram chat, and there was a discussion about the hanky code and what colors and who flags what. And then so Chester was like, let's talk about that. And here we are. So what I did not do was prepare a history lesson, but if you haven't been listening to all of our episodes, we've talked off and on in the past about flagging, aka wearing a handkerchief in your back pocket. Basically, at a time long before we had these devices and computers and the internet, you had to communicate in a society that wasn't exactly down with people spending various amounts of time semi-naked or naked together. And you had to basically be able to tell people what you were into without really saying anything. And I believe, Chester, you said in the Tom of Finland documentary biopic, there's a reference, I think. Do you recall, Chester?
No.
Okay. I thought you said there was kind of like an early reference to cruising and flagging.
Well,
like
in the Tom of Finland movie, the main character who is being portrayed as Tom, he goes about talking to other people, and he calls them, and he refers to it when he's cruising as pheasant hunting.
Okay.
And there is a point in the movie where he's talking to another gay gentleman, or gosh, it's been a while since I've seen it, but I do remember he's having a conversation with somebody, and he's talking about going pheasant hunting, and he keeps making these innuendos about pheasant hunting, but if you don't know the lingo, it'd go right over your head.
Interesting. Yeah.
So there was a time when men wanted to meet other men. They had to figure out how to tell each other quietly, anonymously, potentially, without really, putting all of this out there verbally, so to speak. And you didn't want to walk around with a sign. I mean, this is kind of the way to say it. You had to visually communicate what you would put potentially on your app profile today. Only you're doing it in person. So you're seeing another person. By being able to look at what hankies they were flagging or showing, depending on the pocket, it determines what the person's interested in. Now, that being said, the hanky code, I think, initially started as a very simple idea. And as time went by, of course, we're human beings and we got to make it complex as shit. Because now there is a very big rainbow of colors and textures and fabrics and objects that you can have that flag different things. And even today, some people are finding that that doesn't necessarily cover all the bases. But
yeah.
So, Chester, I believe you went and asked our COL Entourage what they wanted or what they prefer to flag.
I did. So I put out a poll, and I put it on Instagram and Facebook and all these other places, and we had about 17 people respond to it. Now, I will say that in our Telegram chat for our COL Entourage, we were discussing different ways, different colors that people flag, and we had talked about that. And unfortunately, I ran out of time and I wasn't able to scroll back through our chat and get everybody's responses from there. So the responses that I did get back were from Tumblr, Instagram, Facebook, and some other places. But there was a very extensive list of things that people had that they flag. I was surprised at some of the stuff that people were flagging, in the sense of, I know for me, while I have a wide range of different things that I flag, I only really talk about the main ones for me. So I put like my 3 or 4 main ones, but there are some people that made like huge lists. But I compiled a list, like a spreadsheet of what everybody flagged, and if they were on the left or the right. I didn't take into account anybody's names or anything like that. So when I read these back, it's completely anonymous, unless you want to go and find out this information on your own. But the main ones that I see people flag are beige for rimming, black, which is heavy SM, light blue, is for oral sex. That had the most respondents, with 11 people out of 17. So that's what, I'm not good at math.
How many?
More than half, like 60, 70%, something like that.
It was 11 out of 15?
11 out of 17.
11 out of 17.
It's like 60-ish percent. Navy blue is for fucking. That had a lot of respondents. Gray for bondage.
65.
Magenta for armpits. Dark pink had come up, which is tit torture. Cigars, which is tan. Teal, which is CBT. And then this one I thought was kind of cute and funny. If you flag teddy bears, it means that you're into cuddling.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
White for jerking off. And then there was white velvet for voyeurism and exhibition. And then yellow for water sports. There were a couple people that had stated that there is no hanky code for flogging, humiliation, or tickling. Now, I realize for the most part, this discussion is talking about actual hankies like these here. For people that can't see them at home, or they're just handkerchiefs. But there are other ways to flag. So I know for me that if I'm going to be flogging, I just carry my flogger on my hip. If I want to be flogged, I put it on my right. If I want to do some flogging, I stick it on my left.
That's sort of the thing that is very traditional thinking is, obviously if you know the hanky code, one side means you're the dom or top, or sometimes the doer,
giver
of the action, giver, and on the right is you're the receiver, bottom, sub,
which is all explained also on this website. The weird URL 1998 created webpage. Sorry, I just
it doesn't really need to be pretty.
I want it to be pretty, And plus, there's a couple of things like when they're talking about patterns, or maybe even like things like lace and satin, something a little more visual to kind of help out with that.
So it's funny that you mention that, because I have a different one that I use, and I'll put it in the chat. And it's funny because it's called the Holy or Ironic Hanky Code. But on the far side, it has every single color. It has some of the patterns and everything else. It also has the reason it's wholly ironic is because it has little quips and stuff that kind of are meant to be funny and whatever. So I will put that in the group group chat.
So still the same type of thing. I mean, a couple of them actually have better like visuals and stuff, but some of them don't even have it. Like metallics, gold lame, silver lame. There's nothing listed there.
When we were discussing this in our Telegram chat, Michael Quinnichet had made a comment to me about flagging celery, because apparently that's a thing. And I was like, why the fuck would somebody want to flag celery? And then all of a sudden I looked it up, and it means that you want brunch. And I was like, oh, I would actually flag celery because I love brunch.
So according to this boot dog link, brunch is celery is brunch included on the one side for top, and there's also plastic fork, which is for dinner.
Nice.
I would flag both of those.
Apparently,
like
an actual lemon is for enema top and enema bottom.
I don't get
Weird. Yeah.
Bubble wrap for alien and xenophile.
I do want to mention that if there are any size queens out there, we had 2 respondents that had said that they flag mustard on the left, which means that they are hung plus 8 inches. So if you're curious, you are welcome to go digging for who responded and said that they are flagging mustard on the left.
If you saw the picture from last night, you know someone who is. And one of the hankies that I flag is mustard.
Okay.
Oh!
Well then.
I was just saying that for if you're looking at the picture from last night and we're curious, like, what's that color that he's flagging? That yellow that's not quite yellow.
I'm going to be quite honest that I would not have looked at that and said, oh, he's flagging mustard.
Yeah.
This is the problem when you are flagging in a bar.
Yeah.
There's typically, in any gay bar I've ever been in, there's usually atrocious lighting. It's typically yellow, like old light bulbs, and it's very dark. So I know for me, I have this blue hanky. I don't know what fucking color this is, other than it's a shade of blue that is light. Yeah, I don't know if it's robin's egg or if it's light blue. It could be fucking teal for all I know.
It
doesn't matter because I like all of those things, so it's okay.
So you can flag. You just pretty much flag blue.
Yep.
All the blues. Well, not all the blues.
Not all the blues.
Yeah, not all the blues.
So, just quick question. So, what is it if you're flagging Szechuan sauce?
You like dated references and chicken McNuggets.
I mean, maybe it's just like Rick and Morty and chill.
Oh God. That actually makes sense.
No, girl. No.
Rick and Morty and chill. Oh my God. Okay.
So into Asians, maybe? I don't know.
Can you flag tacos? AJ, you can flag whatever you want. Just wrap it up with the taco. Wrap that taco up because no one wants that all over everywhere. Anywho.
Maybe it's just like a picture of a taco or a hanky with a picture of a taco. Maybe it's a Taco Bell hanky.
Y'all need to stop.
I mean, what if you were flagging Taco Bell wrapper? I don't know. There we go. Taco Bell wrapper. There you go.
Oh my God. Why do we? I think it's so. The thing that I think that's part of the problem essentially that has become prevalent. So when I went to the Wikipedia link, it mentioned that there were not that many flags to begin with. When this says this table was drawn from Larry Townsend's The Letterman's Handbook 2, the 1983 second edition, and it is generally considered authoritative. It kind of mentions, it only mentions 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 colors. And, which is very interesting because at that point, I know back in that day, there probably weren't nearly as many. And since then, it has grown considerably. There are things that I never would have thought about, like mosquito netting and gold lame and all these other ones. While interesting to talk about, I don't necessarily always see, out. Now, a lot of people tend to stick to the basics, which is kind of on this list of that's in the on the Wikipedia page. But there are others that do go a little bit above and beyond. It always depends for me on what I'm looking for. Like the one that I always have been interested in, or I always see, is the difference between a dark pink and a magenta. Like sometimes.
Sorry, Damon.
What?
Jeff just asked in chat, "What do you flag for Burger King?" And I'm like, "A fucking crown."
Dick.
Anyway, go on.
But that's what I mean. Like that's my since it has grown so much, it's become a lot harder to remember things. So I know I didn't bring it. I meant to bring it down. In my wallet, I have a little card. It flips up. I think it's from LA Leatherworks, that has a pretty much substantial list. It's not the full list, but it has a pretty substantial list of it. And sometimes I use it. I use it all the time.
Is it like
I have one in
Pantone palette? It's just they scribble everything out?
It's not the Pantone palette with like the colors and everything else. It's just the names of the colors.
I mean, that would be perfect for LGBTQ people, because then you could have like shade written on the back, and you can always just flip it open.
So you could have a fan, is what
you
you're
could have
saying.
a fan as well as
fan. And it'll have all the colors and what they mean. Yeah, no, that's just too much. The card is good enough. It's a decent size. It fits in my wallet. I have one actually even in my mundane wallet, so that if I run into a color or see a color or talk about a color that I don't remember, it's nice to have that knowledge just in case. I can't always check my phone, and even then, there's always the one thing that is important and will always be part of it is. Just because someone is flagging certain thing doesn't mean they necessarily want you to do that right now. For example, someone who flags houndstooth is into biting. That does not mean, if it's in their right pocket, that you should go up to them and give a glomp on them. That's just the way it is. You should always be respectful, consent, etc. about those flags. Yes, if you were to come up to someone and say, "I want to bite you," then they might be like, "Sure, go right here," or present or whatever, and then there you go.
Consent is sexy.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, I agree that when it comes to flagging, when people were making their list, when I was compiling all of these, I'm like, the fuck is black velvet? What is black with white check? Somebody had said that they were into coral. And for the longest time, I thought coral was you liked big boys, but I think that's actually a different shade of orange. Yeah, apricot. And I'm like, in my head, I'm thinking, what's the difference between coral and apricot? Because to me, in my mind's eye, they look the same.
This is where you need the Pantone thing.
Right? But I was going through people's lists and I would see these, and sometimes they made sense. Like when I saw somebody had responded with Holstein, I'm like, I'll bet you that means milking. Come to find out, it means milking. But there were other ones. I didn't know that mosquito net meant outdoor sex. Had no idea. But the list goes on and on. So that's why I really only, like I said earlier, when people ask me what I flag, I'll only give them 3 or 4. It's because those are the main ones. Those are the ones that I really care about, and the ones that, you know, you could come up to me just about anywhere, anytime, and these are the ones that I would be down for at that moment, at any, you know, a drop of a hat. Other times I might not be, you know, I might not want mosquito net.
Yeah. I still think that we have a $1 million idea on our hands for creating an app that has the visual, like, it's a quick reference. So you can like be able to see whatever that is, but the audience may be a little limited. You never know. So
Yeah.
It'll be a free app.
What's the flagging?
Yeah, the flagging, the handkerchief code, and to me, in a way, it's older and it holds more importance than the bear code did.
Yeah.
But in a way, it's kind of in the same camp of this is an older form of communication between individuals, but without really having to say a whole lot or, you know, explain things. And it's still being used somewhat to this day, but it's only people of, I think, certain age. I don't know that many individuals, say in their 20s, that are familiar with it or do it, so to speak.
And the other thing that I've noticed a lot more often is you'll see, like in leather, kink, rubber, even, there's a lot of things that have like piping or there's a color of you know, and it usually falls in line with the hanky code colors. The problem is some people like things, but they like the color of it, not necessarily what it represents in the hanky code. I was actually talking with someone at NAB, and they were at Wolf Striker, and they were really liking this harness that they had, but it was orange. And he was like, I don't know if I want to put that out there. And I was, you know, trying to explain to him why orange kind of has this connotation about it. That doesn't necessarily mean that you are flagging that just because you're wearing that. And if someone were to talk to you about it, you can let them know, like, hey, I just really like this, or this really goes well with my outfit. Like, I'm actually just color coordinating. Like, I've got some really neat stuff that has some orange trim, and I wanted to kind of complement it. So I'm not really flagging. I'm just really, really liking the color coordination. Like for me, for example, I'm not necessarily an orange flagger, but orange looks really good on me. So I sometimes wear orange. It doesn't mean I'm flagging orange. It just means I like the color. And just because I'm going, just because I'm going like to a bear event or a leather event and I'm wearing orange, I got goofed on it. I was at Claw, like my first year at Claw, and I wear a jockstrap every day during Claw. And the only jockstrap I had left was an orange one. So I wore the orange one, and not realizing that the class I was going to that morning, we were going to be essentially taking off our clothes. So I didn't know that. I thought, oh, it'd be okay. I'm just going to wear it right now. Nope. And sure enough, older gentleman in the room, like, sees the orange jock, and he's like, oh, eyes light up and everything. And I'm like,
oops.
Had to very politely. I mean, he not that I wouldn't have minded. He was kind of nice looking, but it was one of those things where I was there with Jim, and we were just sort of. It was a fun moment, but it was a very awkward moment because it was like, no, I'm not really. It's just jock.
By the way, quick side note. The guy has come up with the name of the app. It's called Flagger. That name.
When I had asked people, to fill out the poll, one of the responses that I got had been to the effect of, "Wow, this is really still a thing," and it took a lot for me to not get really defensive and tear the guy down for saying it in that manner. But the reality is that there are people who still hold on to these types of traditions, whether they are doing it. I know for me, when I flag, it's because I'm doing it somewhat for fun, and I'm doing it to hopefully invoke somebody to question it. I'm kind of hoping somebody sees the hanky hanging out of my back pocket and makes a comment about it. That's my goal. Whether they know what the color is or not, I'm not that concerned with it. I'm just hoping that somebody notices it and makes a comment to me about it. And then there's other people, like you guys were saying, that older generations, they still do it because that was their way of being a Leatherman. They continue to do that because it is tradition for them. So when I read this comment by this person, I'm like, well, yeah, people still do it because that's part of gay culture.
Yeah.
And there are people like myself that like to honor that little bit of gay culture. Why do we need to get rid of it? Just because we can dial up sex on our phone? Why do we need to get rid of that aspect of our culture? And it kind of puts me in the mind of people who bitch because they go to a bar and they see people on their phones. Or, they make other comments about, why are you in a gay bar and you're on a cruising app when you've got a plethora of people already around you? Okay, well, let's flip that around. If you're going to complain that there are people flagging when we don't need that because you can use your phone, we can't have it both ways and then bitch because people are on their phones.
Exactly.
You could just flag, and then you wouldn't have to worry about it.
Yeah, it's very catch-22 almost kind of things. That's in a lot of ways. Like, there's a lot of people that want it to be like the old days, or the days of yore, where guys went to the bars and you could look at, say, a flag or have a conversation with someone and pick them up and do naughty things, either even at the bar or going home and doing stuff. I think in this day and age, it's not that simple anymore. We can't have that free mentality in general. But then on the flip, when you go on the flip of that, where people are on their phones all the time, well, for some people, it's easier to talk to someone on with the not necessarily anonymity, but at least I can talk with someone on my phone as opposed to talking to them in person, at least at first. I used to do it, not all the time, but I still do it every once in a while, where I'll get on the phone and I'll, check on like Growler or whatever and see who's close, and maybe strike up a conversation online to kind of ease my way into talking to them in person. Would a flag help that? Possibly. It's a possibility that, I have you've got a hunter green flag in your left pocket, so that means you're a daddy. I kind of have boy tendencies. Like, would you, let's have a conversation, but I don't really, I don't see that necessarily happening like that. I could see it potentially happening like that, but I don't see it for me happening that way. The other thing I wanted to mention, because I know someone, Chuck mentioned in the chat, he was like, jock straps can flag, and that's news to me. I wanted to kind of clear something up. Hankies and flagging are kind of the same thing. But the other aspect of it is there are a lot of people who still think that even clothing can be color coded to represent a flag. That's why you have, like I was talking about leather, where there's some red piping, where someone means that means they're into fisting, or there's red leather that they wear. It doesn't always mean that. I think a flag is the most obvious one, but just because someone is wearing a piece of clothing that is a color of the Hanky code at a event doesn't necessarily mean that that's what they flag. It's always, no offense, it's always good to ask. Just straight up ask. It doesn't hurt. Go ahead.
No, right. I mean, that's one of the things I think that is confusing for people when they first learn about the Hanky code or flagging. I think for some people, especially younger individuals, I think they're kind of like, like, I didn't realize this was going to mean something else. Like, I mean, this is awful, but it kind of reminds me of individuals that aren't familiar with the rainbow and they're not a part of the LGBTQIA, community. They are like, I just like rainbows, so they don't know any difference. So they stick a rainbow on their, on their car or whatever. And then they're like, there's all these really nice, friendly people that say hi to me or wave or whatever, and they, till someone tells them, and be like, the rainbow is a gay thing. And then they're kind of like, and then they have to make a decision. And I feel that way for individuals in the community when they find out about flagging. They're kind of like, oh, but I really like this harness. I didn't know, like, because it has yellow that it means I'm into water sports. I just like yellow. And, I mean, it's kind of one of those things like one of us, their partner, you'll have to guess which of the 50%, likes a certain color, and then they got teased about it because when they like that color and they wear it, that means they're flagging a certain thing. And it was kind of one of these situations like, well, you kind of have to make a decision. Like, are you okay with that or are you not okay with that? Like, in a way, it's kind of like
referring to somebody who wears hunter green.
Maybe.
Because I think over time he has realized that maybe flagging hunter green isn't so bad.
Oh, interesting. Funny that.
I was wearing a hunter green shirt yesterday, and the main reason was because, one, we were doing a Wizard of Oz theme, and it was kind of to go with the green, Emerald City bullshit. But it was also kind of obvious without being obvious. Right. I haven't even commented on my shirt, and I was like, oh. Dang.
Well, and that's one of the things is, like, for me, my nickname is Care Bear. But I don't spell it like people think it should be spelled when they think of phonetics for pronunciation, so it throws them off. And so then they see it the way it's spelled, they think it's Garbear, and they think that means cigars. And I've reconciled, like, I'm not changing my nickname and, like, whatever. Like, if people think that I smoke cigars, all right, so what? Like, it used to make me mad when I was younger, but I got mad about a lot of things. I'm not. So, or I moved on to getting mad about other shit, like Skype. Fuck you, Skype. So the thing is that you have to kind of pick and choose your battles. And I think perhaps if you pick a color, you may, as we just discussed, find over time that it's not so bad that you particularly go for a certain color. Now, I will say this. When I first came to the bear community, not coming out as gay, it wasn't until the bear community, I think around 99 into 2000, that I even heard or knew of what the Hanky code was, really. And when I first heard about it, this is what I was told: hand to whatever you believe in. Someone literally said to me, in fact, a couple people, I'm pretty sure, all said the same essence of this: the colors you stay away from are red, yellow, black, brown. Like, they just called out and said, if you see those colors, go the other way.
Wow.
which I think was their really polite way of saying you are about to get in over your head into things you don't know about and probably don't want to be involved in. So just
And where do you fit now?
move along. Well, let me go back to the document because I got to look at the colors again and remember because I know what some of them are.
Well, black is heavy S&M. Red is
Red is fisting. Yellow is
pissing.
Water sports. Brown is scat.
Yeah, so not really into brown. Yellow, I've determined over time, is very much like a time and a place kind of thing. Also, intriguingly, and have we talked about water sports really?
No, I don't think so.
Somebody
mentioned that sometime, but never really. We never had an LTAK
maybe
on it.
Really, Jeff, check that please. Because I'm kind of confused. Only because I'm pretty sure when we've talked about it, maybe we didn't do a whole show. But what I find intriguing about water sports is a lot of the discussion is about that, like drinking from the tap or whatever. There's this discussion about how it's like the person drinks a lot of water ahead of time, so it's not what people initially think.
We actually did have one, 353 back in February 2016. That's why we don't remember it.
2 years ago.
Oh, well.
We old. So, so I've kind of determined with water sports, it's like, because I think there's a lot of if then. So I've heard a lot of people say, well, if I'm in the shower, and the water's running, it's not that big a deal. I've also heard a lot of people say, if I walk up to the toilet or the urinal or the trough and I'm in a bar and a guy's on his knees next to me and he wants to drink, what the fuck do I care? Like, I've heard that many a time because they're kind of like, I don't give a shit. If you want to drink it, you go right ahead.
It's just a different urinal in that case.
Yeah, something like that.
You can. Some don't. I mean, I've been there. I actually have not seen that before. I have seen the intentionally left glass. I've
never seen that. Or, well, I'm sure I have. I've just never linked the two until now.
Yeah. Well, granted, I was at a leather bar, so it was either going to be the guy actually there or it was going to be and given that bar, they couldn't really just stand there.
Right.
It was a small restroom.
No, I understand. I mean, so all right, so here's my question. Because if black is heavy SM, what is light SM?
I don't think there is a light.
See, this is
that's
why.
A black.
So that's why, some OCD motherfuckers didn't make this thing. Because if you're gonna have one, you need to be able to have a balance of the other. You can't say heavy S&M because then that construes that there is light S&M.
Right. I think
because you would think gray, but that's actually more bondage, which, by the way, I would be flagging that on the right.
Okay, so
I believe that it's just meant to be impact play.
Yeah. So there's an alternative for gray, and the alternate is light S&M, because that's what I remember. That's the one I use. Yes, I know gray means bondage, but I've seen it also mean light S&M. If I'm looking at the one, my wholly ironic one.
Okay.
But it because that's what I remembered back in the day. But again, black doesn't always necessarily mean heavy. It just means S&M.
Right. And so for someone who knows nothing about the code, I think the reason why they gave those 4 was just heads up. Just if you see them, don't even. And of course, pretty quickly you find out the one that there's usually the 2 that you never forget is red and brown. Because brown is kind of super self-evident if you think about it, what it represents. And red is a little bit of a misnomer for me because I think it represents the extreme of that activity if things go wrong. Is the way I look at it. I think people, when they think about fisting, when they think about handball, that kind of stuff, I think they think far too much to the extreme. They think about a bodily fluid. They think about tearing. They think about pain. There's all these things. And back when we had Mr. Allen on and we talked about that particular topic, there's so much that goes into it. There's a lot of preparation. There are things that need to be done. There's a cleaning out ahead of time, and it's just not something that you jump right into right away. At least most individuals
So
do
as
that.
a
Perhaps,
baby gay, having that as one of them is probably a good idea. Like, okay, right off the bat, stay away from these. Doesn't mean you won't get to them eventually if maybe you're into that sort of thing. But,
right.
As a baby gay, probably not a good thing to start with.
Yeah. So that being said, my tastes have kind of changed here and there over time. I just don't really. In fact, I didn't even think about it. I've got hankies. I've got handkerchiefs somewhere folded and put away. I just never really wear or flag all that much. Just
So, and go ahead.
No, I was just going to say that I think, your tastes in that do end up changing over time. And see, like, this is the other thing. Like, I'm like, we got light blue, we got navy blue, we got robin's egg blue. They're all blue. So, depending on the lighting, I may or may not be able to tell, like, what I'm looking at, especially like light blue and robin's egg blue.
See, that's where we need a flagger. So it takes a picture, quality scans it, compares it to like a Pantone database, and be like, this is this color blue.
You really like that Pantone shit.
Well, because
that's basically what it is.
It's a universal kind of, one code color combination is clear as a bell representative, whether it be in print or whatever. So I see benefits to it, but yeah, it does kind of get a little confusing. And then do we have I see silver lame. We do have teddy bear, terry cloth. Do we have any objects besides celery?
Well, the teddy bear was an object. The other objects are harder to, if I remember.
Like, I thought there was one that was like a miniature disco ball. I'm trying to remember what else I thought there was a kewpie doll.
Yeah.
Or diaper. And this is what I mean by, like, it's kind of morphed over years.
Kewpie doll is listed as like chicken hawk.
Well,
which is a term not really used anymore.
You're right. These lists are somewhat outdated because now if you see somebody with a collar and a padlock, that is a form of flagging, and that means that somebody owns that person in a BDS or a dom sub type of relationship. Or if they've got a dog collar on, chances are damn good that they're into puppy play of some sort. You just mentioned diapers. I know for a fact if we're going to a bar night and if you really pay attention to Joe's ass when he's walking around, he'll have an inch or two of a diaper poking out of his pants because he wants people to know that he's into ABDL.
Right. And that's just it, is that adult baby diaper play or, interest. That's the whole thing, is that, like, you wouldn't put the diaper in your pocket. You'd probably be wearing it. Just like, I think pup play has actually really modified in the community, because until probably about 4 years ago, if anybody ever talked about pup play, I had a very specific thing in mind, and I was not down with it. I had a very negative outlook on it. Yes, Damon?
Yeah, no, I know what you're talking about, because when I was the same way when I first heard about it. When it first was like burgeoning, like the start of it, that was the first thing that came to my mind. I was like, "Oh, we're not going there. I'm not going there. We're not going to have this conversation."
Right.
Yeah.
And so now, pup play isn't anything like what my mindset was over 4 years ago. I found pup play in what I considered it prior to be incredibly demeaning and revealing of what I considered serious psychological things that should be addressed, because it was very extreme, like, form of like domination and master sub relationship. And I just wasn't down with it. No matter what anybody talked to me about it, I just could not. I was like, nope, like that's fine. But my first thing immediately is like that there's something going on. And I get that it's very judgmental. I just couldn't wrap my brain around it. And then now where we have things today, I think it's very different. So in a way, I feel like pup play is two different things. I think there's pup play kink, and then there's like pup play, which is, I don't want to call it non-kink, but it's more cosplay, if that makes sense. Cosplay isn't really the right wording, but it's more in line with that you take on a character and a personality, and eventually probably have, no offense, drag. You have some type of, well, you have a personality, but you have a certain way that you look. So most of the pups I know eventually end up getting a hood, and they might get a tail, and then they might get, I think they're called mitts, and knee pads, and so there's kind of a thing. And even like my understanding is like there's certain hierarchy or levels about the kind of hood that you can have and the money that you spend. And so it's very interesting to me, because I'm like, wow, like no matter what, the strata will always kind of be there. And so that's why I'm like, it's kind of, to me, in my mind, in this one viewpoint. So that's where now, do you really have to have anything in a pocket to flag? Yes, no. And Chester, I think that was your point. Like, you could just be out. And anytime I see anybody wearing a chain around their neck, if I see a lock and or usually it's a bone-shaped tag, those mean two very specific things to me. And I don't need you to have anything in your pocket.
Right.
Yeah.
But I still think it's flagging. I just wouldn't consider it part of the Hanky code.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, I think it's an interesting place to be now as to whether or not it's still going to hold anything. And I don't know if the upcoming generations will kind of dissolve away the concept of meaning behind colors. Because as you're talking about, someone sees something and it's leather and they really like it, and they want to buy it. So, for instance, we were at MAL, and AJ's there with me, and we're walking through the vendor market, and I think two different vendors had LED suspenders. They're very cool. They were also ridiculous expensive, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
But they had colors, very specific colors, very limited colors. They didn't have a lot to choose from. But I was like, LED suspenders are kind of cool. But again, like, being the age that I am and knowing about flagging, I'm like, well, if I buy a red LED pair of suspenders, does that mean I'm flagging that color? Or am I just wearing it because I like it?
And therein lies the crux. Like, I believe intently that unless it's in your pocket, you are not flagging it. Like, even if it's the trim on a leather shirt, or it's the color of your leather tie or what have you, to me it doesn't automatically mean that you flag it, because I have known far too many people that wear things for the aesthetic and the color and the look. They don't necessarily wear it because they flag it. Yes, you can, but it doesn't always automatically mean that. And I think, again, that's part of the whole, you should have a conversation. Now, if you were to wear a on dark red leather uniform and go as part of the competition, and you don't do it, weird. But on that same token, maybe for to say, like, I really like this look. I like the way it looks on me. These pants, spectacular. So I'm going to wear this uniform, and fuck whoever what they say. And then, yeah, if someone asks you about it, you may be able to say, well, this is why I wore it. It was on sale, and it looked really good on me. So I went on ahead and bought it. Yes, I know what it means, but that doesn't mean I have to do it. And, that's really all it is. It's all about communication.
Yeah. And so I look at it this way. I might slightly disagree with you, Damon. If I see someone wearing formal leather or high cow and shirt or pants have a color in them, then especially a stripe, I'm going to presume that's a flagging representation. So like if they're wearing, a short sleeve leather button down, and I see a color stripe around the edge of the arm, or I see them wearing leather pants and there's a tuxedo stripe running down the outside edge and it's color, to me, immediately, I'm just going to presume that's flagging, because why else would you have that color there? But I hear what you're saying. If I see someone running around and they're wearing like latex and it happens to be orange, I'm not immediately going to jump to, oh, that means, anytime, anywhere. It just might be they like orange, and that's just kind of where it's at. Okay. So I think it's kind of a time and place in what it means as well. Like if I go to Pride and I see people wearing color, I'm not necessarily going to jump to the conclusion that they're flagging anything. But if I go to a leather event, like if I go to Claw or I go to a regional run or I go to MAL or whatever, IML something, and I see people with color, then I'm probably going to think in this environment, these people probably like 60 to 70% or greater chance that they're actually flagging something, whatever that may be. So yeah, I think it's a little difficult. Like I know some people that buy the armbands and they wear them, and that's to me kind of an iffy area on whether or not you're flagging, because if you know about it, then that's good. And if you don't know about it, that's where it's kind of, that's where the belt, armband, suspender, bracelet, you know what I mean? Like all of that stuff kind of starts to make you wonder whether or not they're flagging. Like I've seen metal chains that are colors, like chain link or whatever. And so they could be green, they could be black, silver, there could be multicolor. And sometimes I think it's a little flagging, and other times I'm like, I don't know. I'm not really sure.
I think anything with left or right can maybe, like, it's a higher probability that they're flagging in some sort of way. And when in doubt, ask. Actually, probably should ask about it in any case.
Right. I mean, that's what Chuck's saying in the live chat right now. He's like, just go talk to the person and find out. But that goes back to other things that we've talked about again and again, is actually engage in a conversation with the person and find out what their interests are or who they are or whatever, without jumping to conclusions. And I think that's why apps really have kind of taken people away from this as a communication method, because they're like I don't need to look at your ass or your arm or whatever to see what you're flagging, when on my device I can just see, all sorts of information, including things that are sometimes really much appreciated, like pre-show that Chester had.
Yeah, that was nice.
Speaking of such things, are we ready to move on?
I think so. Let's do, where is it? There it is. I never really thought about anything about flagging, but I'm calling this Just Lounging. So this is from Cubby Daddy Bear Daddy. Looks like they had a guest. And of course, nudity ensued.
He's not a guest. He's their pup.
Oh.
Oh, well, hello there.
Yeah.
It said, my beautiful cub and pup. Love them so much.
Aww. Yeah.
Oh, hi there. I moved on to the next one. So.
Oh. Okay. David, what do you add?
Wow. Okay. So for me, I titled it a different kind of flag. It's our I've used him before. He's Sparta Cubs, and there are flags. By the mean pennants on his back wall, but I'm really not paying too much attention to those, as we've got a very wonderful.
His pennant is raised to full staff.
Exactly. Exactly. Yeah. So there you go. It's just part of the cup.
Not short and sweet.
So for mine, I titled it Flagging Chocolate Biscuits. It is a very handsome, bearded gentleman who is flagging chocolate-covered biscuits in his back pocket at Folsom, Europe.
Now,
are they biscuits or they cookies, but they call them biscuits?
They are chocolate-covered. They're butter cookies.
So
in the U.S., they would be butter cookies.
Yeah, to help the North Americans understand, because they don't know shit all about the UK or Europe, biscuits is not Southern biscuits and gravy bitches. Way different thing. They are typically a cookie. They can kind of come in different varietals. I think of them sort of like shortbread / graham cracker-ish.
Yeah, shortbread is. Shortbread is a good descriptor for them.
Yeah. So, and then in this case, they are chocolate. So my question is, are they chocolate dipped or are they actually chocolate biscuits? And
no, they'd be chocolate dipped.
Right. So, yeah,
they'd be like our Keebler graham fudge cookies.
Yeah, kind of like that.
What's funny about it is it's him taking a selfie, but he's making sure that it's against a mirror so you can see the fact that he has a box of cookies in his back pocket.
He's flagging him right, too.
Which I will say is a little bit confusing only because he's in the caption, he's kind of saying like that he's flagging it, but he hopes that flagging means that he just wants to lay in bed and eat them. And I'm like, yeah, but you're dressed. Like, and you're out of bed. So...
Well, that's for later. This is like, I'm going out. I'm going to flag this so people know that I want to go to bed.
So I want to go back to bed and eat these off somebody's ass.
Nice.
In our live chat, Chuck had said that he's going to go grab a box of Thin Mints.
Oh, nice.
Well, let me tell you something there, Chuck. If you had happened to have been at NAB 2 weeks ago, you would have had all the Girl Scout cookies you could muster because somebody was selling them as part of raffle tickets all weekend, and it was fantastic.
I believe that person sold out, if I recall correctly, of all their Girl Scout cookies. So
that's good.
Nice.
Oh, that brings up a good point. Hold on, I want to scroll back up. Do we have flagging uniforms or Boy Scouts or anything like that?
No, I don't think.
Well, there's the military, which is olive drab.
Uniform is it's a gray color. Shit, I don't remember the specific.
Uniform.
It's not even listed.
Sorry, I meant suits.
Oh yeah.
Gray flannel is flagging suits.
Yeah.
Or you could just wear a suit.
And then olive drab is like soldier and military. It's uniform, kind of.
So if you have a Boy Scout or just that like kerchief thing, you know, that Boy Scouts have. Or...
I have one of those, like one of these.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you kind of have that set up in your back pocket.
I'm too busy looking at all the patterns that are listed now.
I do want to point out that the color on this bear is teal.
Oh.
Teal, which is cock and ball torture.
I was going to say, now I got to go look up fucking teal.
Yeah.
I do. Gary had given me a light blue handkerchief at NEB, I think last year, didn't you? Was that when you gave it to me?
I don't recall the time and place, but yes, somewhere in my travels.
Yeah, and I remember that I had, because I have my puppy uniform shirt, I had taken the handkerchief and used my Bear Scout slide with that handkerchief.
Nice.
I'm wondering if my parents still have my Cub Scout stuff. Probably not. Anyways, Gary?
Sorry, I'm too busy like stuck in the pattern section. Like Holstein, as in black and white cow print, is for milker. Red and white gingham, which most people think of as like picnic tablecloth pattern, is for park sex top or park sex bottom. Hey.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm kind of leopard, has tattoos. I'm like, interesting. So yeah, and yes, tie dye is actually one that's listed. That being said, my Tumblr pick is actually called Happy Flag Day, which actually comes from the Mantelope, one of my faves on Tumblr. Took me a long time to go back and find it because I knew somewhere I had probably reblogged, and here it is. He happens to be flagging 3 colors, but what I find very interesting is only one of them looks what I would consider traditional as a hanky, and the other 2 have patterns that are not technically what we think of. So it's kind of interesting. Yes, Chester?
The yellow one is just too fucking cute.
Yeah.
So what does it mean when you flag yellow sperm? That doesn't seem...
Doesn't come on me?
To be clear to the people not able to see, the handkerchief itself is yellow, and there are black sperm squigglies throughout it.
Well, so here's the thing, because like mustard is supposed to be hung, but I'm like, okay, what is technically mustard? Because French's yellow mustard is what most Americans would probably think of when you think of mustard, and that's not actually the color mustard.
Right.
So
it's brighter.
If it's
and that's what this
mustard
hanky
and
kind of
it's
looks
sperm,
like.
it means he's hung and likes to come.
I don't know. Like that's what I'm just saying. Like, is that yellow? Is it mustard? It's kind of difficult to say. I don't know. And then the blue one is really cute. It's this kind of denim, really light denim color with a darker, like little anchors.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Like he likes.
I think what it is,
as in
exactly.
like Navy men,
I think what it is he likes semen, sperm, anchors, semen.
Well,
No,
you could say that is kind of a light blue, but just instead of a white stripe, it's anchors.
Oh my God! I just got to the bottom of that list with all the extra items I was asking about earlier.
Yellow sperm equals Subway sandwiches.
What? Oh, fuck! No.
This is a continuation of the fast food flagging.
I am so stuck right now in the things category where a plastic fork could be dinner included top or bottom.
Nice. Yeah.
Because now I got to be on the lookout for plastic forks left. Interesting.
Well, just make sure you have a plastic fork on your right.
Chester, did you see what bubble wrap is?
No.
It's for it says alien or xenophile.
Oh, right.
And what I'm amused by is because of our theme for our event this year. I'm kind of like, I wonder if it's going to be running around like a bubble wrap. Anyways.
Okay,
nice.
Moving on. Into our links. First off, I want to just say that I'm really, really happy because my parents got the house that they had. So they're going to be moving from the house they've been in since 1982 to White Bear Lake, Minnesota, to a new townhome and kind of downsizing, which is kind of exciting. I'm really happy for them. They'll be closer to my sister and the rest of our family who's in that Twin Cities area. Anyways, I just had to say something because all I could say is yay and send a gif of Linus dancing with Snoopy and Lucy dancing to the side. In any case, moving into the links, I have a new game addiction, and it's the Criminal Case series. It's both on iOS and Android. I've got a link to the Wikipedia article, and also links to both iOS and Android. So this is like for everybody. I'm not being an iOS snob here. And it's really interesting because it's one of those like find games. You know, like you have a picture which has a whole bunch of things. That's and you like find the objects in it. It has some mini games that go along with it, but it also has like also a running storyline of like different police cases. And they've got like 4 different games. Their original one that's called Criminal Case Saves the World, which is more of like traveling the world as an international police force. One that's takes place like if a criminal case takes place in a New York type area. The Pacific Bay is like it's basically CSI Miami version of Criminal Case. It's just in a southern by the sea sort of thing. And then they have Mysteries of the Past, which takes place in a fictional version of the U.S. Way back in the day when we had like Irish immigrants and stuff like that coming off boats and stuff. So it's fun. It's kind of addicting. So I recommend it. David, what do you got?
Okay, so those of us who follow the Drag Race Entourage group will recognize this person and her videos. This is Sailor Day.
Hi, welcome to Hufflepuff.
This video is
sorry,
and this is how to be a Hufflepuff. It's very funny. I thought it was cute and catchy. She has a lot of fun, and she's basically, making fun of and having fun with the whole Hufflepuff. She's done Hufflepuff, Ravenclaw, and Slytherin. She has yet to do a Gryffindor one, but maybe she never will. I don't know. But it's fun. They're funny, and I like her. And she's kind of doing makeup and talking about stuff too. And yeah. So here you go. Gary? Yeah.
Okay, so this is going to sound wackadoo as fuck. I'm just going to tell you right now. But it is pretty crazy. If you're interested, it's an interesting YouTube video to watch. It's called Clear Crisps / Glass Potato Chips.
Yep, that sounds wacky.
So here's the thing. There's this guy over in the UK. He has a YouTube series. Apparently he does like cooking demo type things and experimentations. He, believe it or not, literally makes clear see-through potato chips. So, and it is possible. It's kind of a thing that's been happening in the food world, is to make clear foods like clear lemon pie and clear like pumpkin pie and some of the things. You might have seen some of this stuff.
Couldn't you just use gelatin?
Well, but gelatin has a specific taste to it.
Yeah.
Like as a flavor profile. And so you want these actually taste like potato chips. So if you watch the video, I think it's a little longer. I don't quite remember. It might be about 20 minutes or so. Yeah, 24 minutes. So if you happen to watch it and go through, he actually explains and tries like an experiment. And he and his wife eat clear potato chips, which they call crisps over there. It's pretty wild. So much so that I was like, I really want to try this. But I don't know if I have the patience to really go through and try to make
do what they're saying.
What's that?
Yeah. I don't know.
So it's more about whether or not I want to take the time to actually do it. But I was totally mesmerized by watching this, and I was like, wow, that's pretty awesome. So yeah. Chuck says, what's the fuck is up with the Homer Simpson stand-up in his kitchen? Hey, everybody got a thing, so...
Yeah.
Shrug.
Yep. I don't know if I can do that. I have to look at the video and see what they look like, but that's going to be... I don't know.
There's a part of me that's like, I think if Chester and I were out somewhere and that was on the menu, it would be a race to see who ordered fastest. And if Drew was there, sparks would fly between the three of us and our utensils, like as to who's going to order and who's going to taste it first when it gets to the table, I bet. Because we're kind of adventurous that way. But yeah, so.
Color me curious, or don't color me curious because it's clear.
Yeah. So, no, it's when you watch the whole thing, if you understand food chemistry, it's pretty interesting. So yeah. That said, before we get into closing, we have an update. So at the beginning of the episode, if you happen to miss it, we made a big announcement that's starting this week. We have joined Patreon. So for those of you that do not know, Patreon is an online website that allows creators to have individuals subscribe and become patrons to what they do as an entity. So as a podcast, we are moving to a new chapter, which is to have people actually monthly support us through a subscription. And there are different levels and amounts that you can actually sign up. And then on the first of each month, they will take out a financial amount from the bank account. And actually, now that I'm thinking about it, we have a couple different levels available. And if I can find that really quick. So we have Entourage, which is $1 a month or more. And then we have Buddy, which is $2. Uber, which is $4. And then Cubster is $10 or more a month. And I also wanted to make sure that we give a shout out to Smashy because he worked with us to help supply the artwork to help represent each of those donation levels for this project.
And people should be able to see it on the screen for those watching on YouTube. And so these little icons here are all Smashies. And we thank Smashy so much for them. They are amazing.
So, and we also want to give a huge shout out and a thank you to our very first Patreon subscriber, Charles, who signed up tonight for our show.
At the Cubster level, he is getting everything from these subscriber awards, which...
Thank you, Chuck.
Yay.
Yeah. So when you read through, there's different things that you're going to get. And there's two ways that Patreon particular works. There's levels, so you get particular things based on your monthly donation. And then there's also goals. And goals are things that we created, and we can keep creating new ones as time goes by. So once we get a certain threshold of money, we'll be able to do stuff. The reality is Patreon's going to allow us to be able to update some of the equipment that Jeff uses for producing, as well as our own stuff that we have. One of the things that we'd like to do eventually is to have a portable system for when we do, say, on the road shows and that kind of a thing. So there's more to come. We're pretty excited about it. This is an idea that has been incubating for a very, very, very long time. And we got the ball rolling in the past couple of months and really kind of pushed on it. So that said, I want to segue to something else. I would like to wish Damon happy anniversary.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Because, do you know why, Damon?
Yeah. TNG.
So Damon joined, I believe it was 6 years ago today exactly.
Yeah.
Is it today exactly?
Hang on, I want to double check, but I'm pretty sure that today is 6 years to the day when he actually came on, because I think it's 3/4, which happens to be today, right? I can do the calendar. Yeah, 3/4/12. Damon joins the second generation, so this is his 6th-year anniversary.
Yeah, March 4th. What do you know?
Yeah. So yeah.
Hi.
Happy 6 years anniversary, Damon.
Yay. I'm the old bitch on the show.
Oh no.
No.
I've got 4 years on you, bitch.
Yeah. You're the producer. We couldn't do the show without you.
Yeah. You wouldn't even be doing a show without me started it. Anyway.
True. But yay, thanks. It's awesome. This has been great.
Well,
hey.
Guess what, folks? That's the end. Aw. But anyways, to contact us, pop over to our website, cubsoutloud.com. You can shoot us an email at cubsoutloud@gmail.com. Leave us a voicemail, sexy or otherwise, at 361-COL Talk. Join the COL Entourage for free. You don't have to pay for anything. At tinyurl.com/telegram-COL to join the Telegram chat. Got a whole bunch of people in there. There's everything from geeky, bourbony, hanky, to slutty. And we love it all. Also, please pop over to patreon.com/cubsoutloud and become a patron. In some sense, you become our boss because you're actually paying us. You get some input in the show. There's going to be a specific RSS feed for patrons that will allow you to hear the whole show in the audio podcast version. Everybody else is getting the edited. So all that pre-show and post-show, you won't get that in the regular feed anymore. You'll be only getting that in the Patreon feed. You can follow us on Instagram, Facebook, Tumblr, Twitter, Google+, and YouTube at Cubs Out Loud in the appropriate place of the URL. Join us over on the Bear Underground. We're the official Bear website of Cubs Out Loud. Rate us on iTunes, subscribe to us or Google Play Podcasts. Give us a thumbs up on Stitcher Radio. You can find me anywhere on the internet. It's Box Tech, Box Puppy, Box Cub, Box something or other.
I'm TheaterCub79 on Bear Underground, Tumblr, Growler, Scruff, etc., etc. Or you can find me as pup_Umbra on Twitter.
You can find me on Tumblr or Twitter under the name The Pup Up There, at your local bar flagging light blue, or various bear dating sites across the net under the name Pup Shutter or Cupcake76.
If you would like to get in touch with me, don't try the hanky thing because I'm probably not looking. Just reach out and get in touch with me as GareBear73 pretty much on the social media.
And with that, say good night, everybody.
Good night, everybody.
Have a good one, y'all.
Yay.
I'm literally, for the patrons, I'm going to strip the audio, tag and create an MP3 and tag it, and then just upload it and make a Patreon post. So it's literally going to be raw, no intro, unfortunately for me, but that's the only difference. And that, well, we can also do for the drag race episodes if we want to. Or I don't know how you want to.
And then, so you're probably going to want the synopsis. Are you going to put the synopsis as part of the?
No, the synopsis. Well, wait, I will probably want it as part of the tags.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. As part of the tags.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. But yeah.
But otherwise.
Hashtag work in progress.
now that we're alive with it.
Yeah.
So,
all right.
I have this strange feeling that. Oh, by the way, for anybody who's going to the Patreon page and you see that it's $9, but we were saying that Charles got the Cubster level, which is $10. It's because that's minus the Patreon take.
Yeah.
Of the donation, so we're still considering it $10. You still get the same benefits. It's just
they have to have their.
It's just saying the actual amount that we get. That's all.
Yeah. which is fine.
Won't get in that until like till April 1st. There won't be any sort of joke or anything. But so. And we thank you, patrons who are listening to this, and anybody on the YouTube broadcast, because I'm still have this stuff on the. I'm too lazy to edit it out.
Doe guy, I love it. He's like, I'll also be looking for back left pocket forks.
Yeah.
We are brothers in arms there, Doe guy, on that one.
I'm literally when I'm like, if I like get a salad or whatever and I need a fork for anything at work, I'm gonna just like, as I'm taking my stuff up to my desk, I'm gonna just put it in my back right pocket.
Nice.
Although I'm not sure if they're considered plastic forks because they're compostable. So are they still plastic?
They could be a biodegradable version of plastic.
Oh.
Yeah.
So it's probably still considered plastic. So I just need to make sure to always be having that handy in my right pocket. If I ever go out, I'm gonna make sure it's there.
All right.
Like if you're going to like a pool party, is there still any way to flag that?
What the forks?
Yeah.
I mean, I guess you
maybe
could
I
kinda
need like
keep it
a
there.
fork tattoo or something on the right side.
Oh my god! Wow.
Because if it's one of those pool parties where, you know, like it's at somebody's house and not at a hotel or something, and you can like get naked. Just trying to think of ways to flag it properly. That's all.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're seriously committed to the flagging thing, I guess you could have a tattoo put on an ass cheek of a hanky, like sticking out of a pocket. That's dedication.
But if you're flagging fork, plastic fork.
Yeah.
Or you know what? I
What
would
does
flag
flagging
both.
spork do?
Yeah, that's right.
Wait. I got a
You want
question.
food and cuddles?
Well, wait, no,
salad?
wait. Because what if you're flagging a spoon? Does that mean you're into spooning, or is that already on the? Is that in the thing?
Well, cuddling.
is a teddy bear.
What the fuck is that shit about?
It's the teddy bear. It's cuddly.
Oh. We need to redo this list. I'm just saying.
I mean, I think we need to redo it just because we kind of need it. So it's like.
Can't hear you.
Hey, for those of you that are still listening to us in post show, shout out, thank you, Aaron. He just joined Patreon. He also joined at the Cubster level.
Hey!
Plastic chicken wings.
What are you talking about? Interesting.
Chuck says, I'm going to flag plastic chicken wings.
Thank you, Aaron.
Tattoos face. We can't hear you, Jeffrey. Can't hear you.
I don't know what's going on with Skype that it's messing with your mic.
No,
I'm glad the main show's over.
I don't think it's Skype. I actually think it's my interface. Well, it's. Can you just not hear me at all, or?
No, we can hear you now.
Now you
Much
sound
better
like
now.
your microphone is far away from you. Like,
Maybe it's the
like,
cable?
Maybe it's like old radio timey voice where you're like like over there kind of a thing. Sorry. My bad.
Listening to radio.
By the way, for those of you that were kind of listening to us or paying attention, there was a lot of back and forth because we went live with Patreon. We were trying to fix things on the fly. So some imaging things kind of changed, some other stuff. So hopefully that, and the link thing got fixed. So
am I better?
Hey. Yes.
See,
all right.
I just unplug and plug back in the thing, and it works fine. I don't know.
Can you plug it out?
Weird.
Turn it off and turn it back on again? Did you turn it back on? Did you turn it off and turn it back on again?
Essentially. It's the unplug and plug back in.
You know what? Points to Damon for that.
You're welcome.
That was funny.
We're back.
Okay. Well, hey, guess what? All you people in the live chat and on Patreon, I'm going to stop recording.